Alright, howdy ho, ladies and joes, this is Frankie22, and I'm coming right back at you with a tutorial video on how to make this auto chop saw, which I see and you see behind me. So I actually had a video on this where several of you commented that you wanted to see a tutorial for it and how it works and stuff like that. So I'll not be showing this mechanism working, partly because I drove around this island and I did not see any big parts, and I'm not really willing to go out and go chop down some lava wood or any other big pieces right now. But you can go check out how it works and see it working in action prior to making this in the video link description, which I put down in the below bottom stuff. And you should be able to find it pretty easily. I've only got like 4 videos on my channel. But let's go ahead and get started. First off, let's tell you the starting price. I believe the last time I calculated this, I don't think it's changed at all. I believe it's $89,000. Now, the only thing this excludes is conveyors. So, the amount of conveyors you want, or anything like that, conveyor cost is not included on this at all. This is just a chop mechanism, including wires and all the stuff that you see right here, that makes this thing come down and chop wood. So, I'm going to go ahead and prep the scene and go ahead and get ready, and it's about time to go ahead and get this tutorial underway. Check back with me in just a couple seconds. I don't know why I said check back with me. Keep watching the video. Alright, so I've got everything kind of moved where the position I want it to be. We're going to run through this real quick on all the parts you will need to make that wonderful chop saw. Now, keep in mind, I already have my hatches placed. Kind of designate an area with which you'd like to have it. I kind of have my hatches like right between a couple conveyors on this one. This one's about halfway in between one or at the end of one, and same with this one kind of too. Kind of get an idea with where you want to put your hatches and kind of put your hatches down already. There can be a little bit of a pain in the rear to put down. That's why I'm not taking up mine. So just keep ahead and keep that in mind. What I would suggest is you kind of put it over the middle of the plate to where the log won't be able to pass through on either side. You can put it off to a side, whatever. Do whatever you find and find it easier for you. Now, if you want to build something like this to where the logs can pass through underneath and eventually lock it up and no one can get in, whatever else, definitely go ahead and put down some stuff in the background and then go ahead and put down your hatch. Make sure that the opening, however, on the bottom is big enough for the wood that you would like to be putting through. So, right now we are at 2 hatches, and let's go through those things before I get too carried away. I've got 2 time delays. I've got 1 chop saw. I have a 1 AND gate. Yeah, 1 AND gate. I've got 2 laser detectors, and I got 2 lasers. I have 2 inverters and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 wires. That's how many wires you may need. These are all the items that I use in my chop saw. This is what you're going to need. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, something you don't have to have, but I find extremely helpful in placing this chop saw down, is you kind of want to get it the right height over the conveyor. So what I like to do is I like to take this short, smooth wall, and we're going to head and move it. And so right now it's vertical. Come on, come back. Here you are. Awesome. And I'm going to rotate him and kind of tilt to the point to where I can get it like this, to where it's horizontal, it's parallel with the ground, and not perpendicular. Now, at this point in time, it's pretty close. I've got it about center. Make sure that you try to keep this in between your 2 hatches. Right there and right there. Because this is where your chop saw will be going on top of. Let's grab a piece of wood real quick. You kind of want it this thick. You don't have to. This is kind of what I use to kind of get the perfect amount of distance and stuff like that. If you can see how thick it is, it's not very thick at all. And we're just going to go ahead and put it right back here. And so now I'm just getting off the conveyor. Alright, so now I'm just going to put this right on top of here. And when you're moving the chop saw, this is actually going to recognize that there's something there. So let's go ahead and let's move this chop saw real quick. Chop saws can be very, very picky, so I'm going to ask you, please be patient with this. It will take a little bit of time. And, yep, come on. Maybe I can get him to come. The box is so big that it's such a pain at times to put it in. But you always want to put the chop saw in first, because if you don't, then you've got to run everything else around it. And so what I do is I put the chop saw in first so I can run everything around it instead of putting in everything else and then trying to get a chop saw to go in. Alright, I'm going to be right back whenever I put this right back down, and you guys get the gist of it. We're just doing this and trying to find the spot that you most likely like, and I'll be right back. Okay, I finally got it to the point. I kind of had to change up my plan a little bit. Get this out of here. You didn't help me. I couldn't really get the wood to go ahead and stay here and be able for the chop saw to recognize it. So what I did is I just took 3 tiles right here that you can get in the Wood R Us shop from the blueprint section. I just took 3 tiles and I put them on top of each other to get the height that I want. You should have tested a little bit. Test, test, test. Very nice. What you want this chop saw to do is you want it to be able to barely tap the conveyor, but you don't want it to go too far deep, because if you do and you get those really big thick pieces of wood, what's going to end up happening is whenever you bring your wood in here, it's actually going to, the chop saw is going to come down, and this part right here above where the light silver blade is part of it, what's going to end up happening is this dark gray part is actually going to glitch the wood out and cause it to go all over the place. And so you want to try to limit that, and so this is actually a good distance. Just like so, very nice. Deep enough to where it'll go through the wood, but not far down enough to where it's going to cause the wood to go ahead and glitch out. So now it's all down here from here. This is the hardest part of the entire thing. So the next easy part now is to go ahead and take your lasers. So I put my lasers this way. You are going to want to do it this way as well. Whatever way you put the activation on the back of your chop saw, whatever way you put it, you're going to want to make sure that your laser is pointing towards it. So what I mean by pointing towards it, here, let me place this real quick, is that you're going to see the silver end of it, and the laser will be coming out this way. So your laser will be pointing towards it. Now, when I place that, I kind of place it on the conveyor belt. Yes, it may snag wood occasionally, but most of the time, if you try to center this up real well, then you're not going to have much of a problem at all. So I put my laser in. Very nice. I'm going to grab my laser detector now and move it to the exact opposite side. And let's make sure that we have the correct side lining up so that it'll capture the laser and say whether or not there's something in the beam line. So if I bring it in here, come on, come on, come on, come on, move it just a little bit. That should look good there. And if I now activate it with the little orange button, yep, you kind of heard like a beep, beep, beep. And then now you see that there's a blue dot coming out the back. That's what you want to see. Now I'm going to take my other laser. Now, you could put your laser to whatever distance you want to, but keep in mind when you place this laser, that's how long the wood piece is going to be. So if you're kind of looking at shorter wood pieces, try to keep it shorter within the distance between the lasers. If you want a longer one, try to make it a little bit longer. So I'm going to put this one semi-close because I've kind of had troubles. I've kind of had a little bit of problems with the longer pieces, so I want to have a little bit closer. And I actually ended up putting this one backwards. So let's go ahead and move this. Just like so. Very nice. And now I'm actually going to go ahead and take my other laser detector. I'm going to put my other laser detector just right there. Come on, bud. Do me good. Maybe. Hang on, I think I got it backwards. Maybe that's not going to help, but I knew I had it backwards. I'm going to place it right there. Come to activate my laser. Does it line up? Yes, it does. Oh, it's a great day. I got a blue dot on the backside. That's what you want to see, ladies and gentlemen. Now, take your inverters. Take a look at how your inverters right here are blue and black. You want to take the black end, and you want to put it to the blue end. So let's go ahead and grab this. So, coming on in now. Rotate, rotate, rotate. Go ahead, look at the arrow. Make sure the arrow is pointing still towards it and out. You want to make sure the arrow is pointing away from your little blue dot on the back of your laser detector. So, come on, come on, come on. Alright, I'm going to put both of the inverters, so this inverter and this inverter also over here. Both these inverters have to go on the back where these blue dots are. And I'll be right back in a second whenever I can get that. It's going to be a little bit finicky. Keep that in mind. It shouldn't be as hard as a chop saw, but definitely be patient. Alright, I'll be right back. Okie doke. I got both the inverters to go ahead and line up like they're supposed to. So, how do you know if they line up like they're supposed to? Well, take a look. You got blue to blue. Good. You got blue to blue. Good. Make sure your arrow is pointing in that direction, away from the chop saw. away from the chop saw. Arrows pointing the other direction. Now, just to do a quick test, I'm going to come in. I'm going to stand right in front of this laser. Does this turn off? Yes, it does. It turns off, and it goes blue on the other side. That is what you're looking for. There can be a little bit of a distance here, but either way, the wiring still is quote-unquote connected. It tells that it is, so you're on your way to doing greatness. So, the next thing you're going to want to do is you want to grab your AND gate. Okay, grab your AND gate and bring it back. Alright, and how I have mine rotated is to where the AND gate will be going out this direction. So from the front laser, I have it coming in and going out. Now, time to grab a couple of those wires that you set off to the side earlier. Here's one. Grab it. Make sure you put on the end of the inverter and drag it to one side of the AND gate. Doesn't matter what one goes where. So there's one. We need one more. There you go. Thank you. Make sure you grab this one. And what I would suggest you have as well during this entire time is maybe you have some wood blocks everywhere, because wood blocks can be extremely helpful with trying to get the wires to where they need to go, because sometimes you just can't get it. And by the way, by the way, sometimes they're going to be messy and sometimes they're not. Just go ahead and keep that in mind and try to keep the ends from touching. So I've got this to a point to where I need to. Basically what I just did there now with the inverters going into this AND gate is that this one and this one need to be triggered at the exact same time for it to go out the AND gate and for the AND gate to light up. If one is triggered or one is not triggered, then the chop saw will not go down. Now, go ahead and grab another piece of wire, like mine right here. Alright, go ahead, put it at the end of your AND gate. Very nice, place it, and run it up. Remember, you may want to have some stuff around you. Go ahead and, something's interrupting. But definitely, you're going to want to have places and blocks that you can just kind of move them all over. So now you got it good here. Very nice. So what you can do is just go trigger it, kind of see if the wire on the backside is working. It is. This one as well. So now if I turn both the oh shoot, I did not want to move it. If you deactivate both the lasers, the chop saw should turn on. And that's just that's part of the chop saw already. You already have it going on. Very nice. Now we've got to get the wood out of here. Imagine there was a piece of wood in here. We've got to get it to move along. And you see how I turned one on, not the other one, and they already turned off. Alright, that's what you're wanting. So now, at this point in time, you're going to want to move the pieces away from your chop saw. You want to move them out, get them away. They don't need to be anywhere near this chop saw anymore, unless you want to run it back through. Okay, come on. Very nice. Get out of here. We don't need you. Thank you. You are very nice, but we don't need you anymore. There you go. So, now we got this extra underspace underneath here. Time to grab your timers that I was talking about earlier. So, got a shrub growing. So, let's grab one timer. Very nice. Move it, move it, move it. And so, I have my timers placed. Boop, boop, boop. You're going to want to look. You see how the cylinder part, you want to have your cylinder facing towards the conveyor belt. And what I would suggest you do... Get out of here. What I suggest you do is prior to putting these in, I already have mine set, but prior to put these in, adjust the delay. You want full delay on both of them. So, at the very top, that's where you want both of them, on both timers. So now I'm going to go ahead and move in this timer now. Cylinder is facing towards me. These line up perfectly, and they're connected as well. Time to go grab one of those wires. Wires! I'm going to grab this wire. Alright, and it's going to go from this position right here when both of them turn on. Boop! To somewhere. Here, you may need to finagle them a little bit. Yep. Wires can be a little bit picky, but don't expect them to be perfect. So, bring it in, put your timer there, press finish, and now you got it all lined up. Very nice. So, now, you're going to take this wire. You're going to come back in. You're going to take the end of the timer now. And like I said, you may want some building blocks because it's about to get crazy. Alright, so you go here. And I'll put this right back on top of my timer. And now the hard part is just trying to get the wire up here. Alright. And there we go. It's up here. So now, once this goes off, and that one as well, what's going to end up happening is this timer chain is going to go off to show you. There's 1, and there's 2. This wire chain's going to come off, where it should. So if it's not doing that, what you want to go ahead and do is just move it, and you want to get it to a point to where the wire is going to recognize that signal. So you may have to move it around a little bit. Yep, it's working now. So now what your timers are going to do, they're going to run through, and they're going to be full, and it opens up this hatch now that you had at the beginning because you ran it to the top of your hatch. Now the log should automatically roll through to your conveyors now. And we're almost there. Just the last finishing touches. Let's go ahead and grab this one. And we can also run it from the end of this timer to go ahead and tell the other side to go ahead and open up. So we're going to run it to here, run it out just a tad bit more. That looks great. All right. And what I've noticed is that when I run mine back that way, sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. As in I can do it in one wire or I can't do it in one wire. So what I'm going to do now is just connect the 2 ends of the wires, run this up, run this right up over here, and then run this to the top of my hatch. And now, hypothetically, if I had a piece of wood, I'm going to put it in here. Oh, one last thing. Make sure you open this hatch so it's opposite. Go ahead, turn off one, turn off the other, simulating that there's a log currently inside there. Wait for the timer to go off. Awesome. Now that's open. Go ahead and do that. And sometimes the timer will take a little bit of time to turn off, but that's okay. And now they both close. Now, actually, that's not what I wanted to do, so I apologize, but it's time to move one real quick. So let's go ahead and grab this. Very nice. All right, I want it to be open. Take it to where your laser detector is and just run it to right there. Sorry about that. You might have already placed it, but oh no, that is not where I want it. I want it right between the 2 here. So it should signal on, yes, to keep this open. Now, whenever there's a log in between this laser, it'll close the front hatch. And so, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, that is how you make an auto chop saw. Thank you so much for tuning into this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful episode. Hopefully I'll have more coming out here soon. I kind of like this system, but I think it's just about time for me to move on from it. So go ahead, put a few out in front, a few conveyors, but that's what I'm talking about. But make sure you have conveyors hooked up and all that jazz, and you're good to go. You got an auto chop saw. Thanks for spending this time checking out my video instead of someone else's. Wink, wink. Thank you. And thank you so much again. And I'll see you guys next time. Adios.